what I'm proposing is simple but audacious. I understand that. But I think it's worth thinking about because we need to understand surfaces. To understand surfaces, you need to understand pi. To understand pi, try this thought experiment. Draw a circle, described from the center dot point. That circle has a thickness of the pencil. You can work out the relationship between the circumference and the diameter by measuring the diameter, working out the circumference, using pi. But where are you measuring to? Are you measuring to the inside of the circle, to the outside of the circle, to the center of the pencil line? So that's the idea. Yeah? And so a boundary between light and dark, between viscous and inviscid, specifically in this case, because we're talking about the propagation of light and the theories of elasticity, is understanding the elasticity comes from the geometric tension between the two pi's of natural and real, creating pi elastic. So pi natural is the golden ratio pi that's constructed from a circle made from straight lines. It's 4 over square root of phi, 3.144, bigger one. And so that's wants to be the outside pi. Okay? The pi real, 22 over 7, is the circle, is the line, it's the spring tension line, the divide between compression and negative tension. So it represents the tension as a spring. Yeah? So it does a job. So that the negative tension, the stretching, can occur. So you got then 22 over 7, 3.142. You have pi natural, pi 3.141, the transcendental irrational number, which is then the resultant of the tension between those two, because they're the wrong way round. That pi natural is inside pi real, and so it's the tension of that trying to escaping, and it does escape. The geometric escape occurs, but in that escape there is an acceleration and a velocity, a speed, remains. It must. There is geometrical logic that insists. You can look at, that's what Da Vinci was telling us in the lever arm, that in the geometrical construction of pi there is this tension, and it's two state and toggles between them. And at the moment we're in state B, maintenance, parasitic to consciousness, half phase DC. We want to get to +1 AC and even higher if we're going to go to the evolutionary phase. But let's just set our sights where we can see, and it's just the opposite one. Right? So that the state A, disk and hemisphere, is the model of the world that you craft from having this tension of pi's, because it's the tension between sphere, pi real wants to be a sphere, pi natural wants to be a straight line, wants to be flat. And so you have the tension, pi real at the center, and then at the very, very boundary, finally, as pi natural unwinds itself in a single surface with a twist each time, all the way out to the cosmic microwave background, the cosmos, it closes as topologically flat as it billows, because the pentagon pulses at the center. There's a pulse. So because it's pulsed, there is energy for pi natural to close as topologically flat at the boundary. In a hexagonal frame, ice 18, actual windows of actual empty water. So that's the boundary of the cavitation that is forced from the power of this water seed, the Earth existing down here. And so science currently places the Earth as why it stays where it is in relation to everything around it is gravity from sun. Yeah? And that's it. So we're expected to believe that it's that force. But we look and we go, look, and everything is so still and wonderful. How can that be true? Everything can't be whizzing through space at millions and billions of miles an hour. That's rubbish. And so it's because we're looking at it wrong. And so here we are at the center, where the pulsing water seed has two states, the sphere and the disk. So we are currently in the sphere state, right? Flat earthers, news. We are in the spherical state, but we're going to flat earth. So hopefully some good news. So you can perceive the world as it is as flat because that's the way it's supposed to be. So the best way to think about the earth is as it's flat, because then it becomes flat. So you go and I only found this out last week when I went, that must be true then. It must be true, because look at the pi tensor state, it's there or there. Geometrically, that must just be expressing itself everywhere in geological time. So now I've got to try and sell you this model. They sell you the sphere glued to the sun at a distance by gravity and mass, etc. I'm selling you we're floating on a surface. So in this surfaces, the ether is created, the hydrogen bonding, if we're inverted. But the best way to just see it is see that there's layers. And when you go to enter a layer, you go up and you widen. Right? So you go up a layer of surface and you widen to disk. So that you can see our model of reality hangs from this system of the sphere hangs below the dimensional bound. The consciousness exists above it as the disk, as the mushroom, so that we found a twist point. Yeah, you can put a twist in anywhere in your surface. That's what's so fucked with ours. We need a new one. We just one. We go through the twist surface, and then it was a disk, and then there's and it expands massively fast because it's the sharpness of the disk. The thinness of the surface is this pi tensor, fucking tiny. But as soon as you've opened it, boom, it breaks the whole surface. The sharpness of the mass is so sharp that it just breaks the surface as a single surface. And so the surface consciousness level suddenly is into a new layer. And now the consciousness can expand at last. And there's lots of space for it there because the energy is massive that we've arisen on. And so the disk now floats on the surface. So currently, the Earth actually is under the surface. So there is a surface, and our cavitation of our atmosphere is hanging below it. There's the surface. Yeah. When we shift our state to state A through the psychological tool curing our narcissism, controlling our narcissism, you can't cure it, you control it in every moment. We go to state A, and the disk floats on the surface, not under it. And the cavitation is above it and below it. And I believe that the surface will turn out to be ice, turn out to be an ice sheet, an infinite ice sheet within the infinite ocean. Yeah? So there's an ice ball inside the infinite ocean in which we float. And so we can be on the surface, we'll burst out. And so our hemisphere of light will be above the surface, and our hemisphere of a bowl of influence will be below us. The heat would be below us. So it'll still be spherical, but we'll live in the middle on the equator, the disk, and it all folds back out again and settles into harmonic ratio. That's the disk, yeah, that shape with the harmonic, the pi elastic inside it, relaxed. The water's no longer under tension. Just get it. Because we're in state B, the surface tension is increased, and we feel that psychologically. But we kind of like it because we feel safe there. But it's lying to us. Let it go. Follow this new information. It's a tiny shift to the foundation of mathematics. It breaks nothing, and it illuminates everything. Yeah, try it. You might like it. Welcome to the future. Fade out.